The video for July the 14th, 2017 is entitled, Earth is a Free Will Zone. It makes me laugh when I hear people say that Earth is a free will zone. Don't get me wrong. I do like the idea of free will. I don't like being controlled by others. As I see it, without free will, nothing has meaning. Brainwashed people do insane things, things that can only be called evil. Of course, I think the idea of a divine directive not only makes sense, it is the reality that such a directive is not enforced that leads to so many of the gross injustices on this planet. I have always done my best to live by the golden rule. When I found myself doing something I knew was wrong, I went out of my way to make corrections. Unfortunately, this is not how many live their lives. Why do the most demanding beings seem to violate that directive with total impunity? They say Creator is neutral. No lines are drawn and no divine law is enforced. Look at this planet. The lessons we learn, and not many do learn them, seem opposite to what I see as common sense, which of course is very uncommon. I'm really struggling, folks, to be honest with you. While I do see that people do seem to be waking up, I hear people still saying that it's going to take many, many years or decades before things finally correct themselves. In the meantime, the cabal, or whatever you want to call those that seem to be in charge on this planet, they seem to still be able to hang on. Now, thank God, the pedophilia is being exposed. I think this is probably a straw that will break that camel's back, as they say, or the cabal's network of control. And it has to come down. I mean, this control grid has to be replaced. And some say, well, it can't be done by force because that would be a violation of free will. What about those that are violating everyone else's free will? That's the conundrum that I continue to wrestle with. And it's why I say I would punch God in the face for allowing such insanity in any place at all, on any creation. Now, they say it's an illusion. They say it's all holograms, that the physical isn't real. And scientifically, I can accept some of that. Spiritually and morally and ethically, I cannot. Because I've had enough personal experience against my will, which made it blatantly clear that I can't even, in some respects, control my own life. Now, it's not as bad for me as it is for those where the violence is much more excessive than it is here on Earth. And this, of course, is true in many of the third world countries. And yet, it still exists here in the United States, which falsely is called a scene or called a bastion of freedom, or where there's good laws. Well, the good laws are violated too. There are good laws on the books. There are remedies on the books, but they're not easy to attain, even when you take many of the steps that have been recommended by those who try to find remedy. They're often ignored by those who still want to maintain the control grid. I've had people tell me that they were able to attain freedom and and they've won in court, and they've stood up to the system, and they've been successful in standing up. But the vast majority of us, that's not the reality that we experience. We experience the exact opposite. I was forced to get a Florida driver's license. As I've said before, the international driving permit was not accepted because they want me to be part of the grid. They want me to have to pay them for privileges that they, as they see it, privileges which to me are natural rights. To move from one place to another is a natural right. Nobody else has that. As long as I don't impose on somebody else's free will, somebody else's freedom, I can do what I want. And I want to be that. I want to be that loving person, that loving being that upholds a standard that is rational, that is loving, that is kind. Benevolence. I'd like to be a benevolent being, somebody that wills good. But I do see, folks, don't you also see that something is amiss on this planet? That those who run the roost or rule the roost don't have the same standards and qualities that those of us that are visionaries see as good. It's inversed. Everything is the opposite. Everything is inside out, upside down, as I keep saying. And I've been saying it for a long time. And I'd like to be making videos with other people that have success stories to share. And maybe I will. I mean, I've got some invitations out with people, including the man in Hawaii, and including some ladies that I know that I've contacted that are longtime friends that I haven't been communicating much with in the last 2 or 3 years when I've gone through a lot of my stuff. I mean, there's even people that, like the Cindy K. Courier, that seems to be a spokesperson for Swiss Indo. I mean, a lot of what she says is really good. I just don't like the idea that she claims to be queen of the world. That's the thing that rubs me the wrong way. I don't want to be king of the world. I'd like to be king of my life. I'd like to have the freedom to do the things that I see as good for me. And what is good for me? It's not good for me to ignore others. On the contrary, it's good for me when I help others, and I feel really good when I'm able to help, even in small ways. It feels good to be able to continue to do my best to wake people up and to put forth the extra effort that it requires to make a video every day and to edit it. I mean, yesterday was the most frustrating time when I'm getting almost ready to record my video, the blurb's all written and everything, and then the computer goes out for 2 hours or almost 2 hours, and I have no internet connection, no telephone service. You know, we live, they say, in an illusionary world, and it may be true that there's a lot of things that are not what they seem to be. But folks, I'd like, just understand that I really want the best for you. I want the best for the cabal, but they have to come clean. I want the best for the people that have been hoodwinked and brainwashed by the cabal. I'd like better possibilities, better opportunities for all of us. Will that happen in my lifetime? That's been the key, because I've wanted it to progress faster than it has. And while I could put it off for a while thinking, well, it's 2012 or whatever, I'm 70 years old and it still hasn't happened. And that's troublesome to me. Anyway, I've gone over time. I apologize for that.